I'm sure that Emily will make something good. Then we can grab a beer and catch up.
I could eat for sure. Let's catch up some other time, alright? I'm tired.
Alright, whatever you say, young man. We'll have plenty of time to catch up.
Sorry about that.
Don't be silly. I might be pushing things a bit. Besides, nowhere in the rule book does it say that you have to drink and chat with Clint after dinner. But you're not just some random stranger. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hello?
There's my night on 18 wheels. How's your first day going?
Alright, I guess. Go on, Linda, I'm driving.
I just wanted to say hi, see how you were doing.
I'm doing great. I'll call you when I get off the road.
Two things, my boy, if you allow me.
Go on.
You just lost about $2,000.
The phone, right?
Well, at least you quickly figured out what you did wrong. But remember, when you're behind the wheel, your earpiece is your best friend. Fine for talking on your phone while driving can be as much as $11,000.
Okay, I'll make it a habit.
It's important that you do, for yourself, your wallet, and the other drivers on the road. And another thing, I overheard you talking to your wife. It's probably none of my business. But is that how you normally talk to each other?
Listen, that's for another time.
Okay.
78.1 Rock FM.
Man, I'm starving. Emily, you're my only hope.
Clint, once again, I'm sorry. It's like the 19th time today, and I know I'm not exactly the best company.
It's all good. Let's grab a bite to eat and get some rest, all right?
I'm such an idiot, confused, insecure, and inconsiderate. I called Linda and offered her my apology for the umpteenth time of the day. She was out with the girls. I haven't taken her out in months. I love her, I guess, but our feelings towards each other grow colder every day. Linda wants us to move forward in our relationship, and me, I'm just a confused loser, going with the flow at a snail's pace. For what it's worth, I did have a good first day behind the wheel. Clint's a cool guy. I have a feeling of accomplishment that I haven't felt in quite a long time. Are we hauling fruit?
Yeah, I spoke to the dispatcher after breakfast. Head to National Fruit and Vegetable Wholesale now. The trailer's loaded. Once we hook it up, we'll be heading to supermarkets in Henryville and Jamaietown.
Okay, I'm on it.
Did you sleep well?
Yeah, this place is cool. Thanks for showing it to me.
Some nights will be rougher.
Where are we staying tonight?
You'll see. Keep your eyes on the road for now. some fellow in white and red as our cargo. Our fellow truckers parked like cavemen.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, then. Let's see how you handle this situation. And be honest if you're feeling insecure about parking here.
No problem. I got this.
I know I've said it already, but one thing's for sure. You are Charles's son. I can tell that you're gonna make one hell of a driver.
Thanks, Clint.
Tonight, it's my treat again. Do you like jokes?
I like hearing them.
Yeah, your dad sucked at telling jokes too.
That's not what my mom says.
That's why they fell for each other back in the day. I'm just joking.
All right. Let's hear that joke you wanted to tell me.
Okay. A trucker is hauling penguins when a police officer pulls him over and says, "What are you doing?" "You need to take those penguins to the zoo. Here's some directions." The next day, the officer sees the same trucker in the same truck hauling more penguins. The officer pulls him over and says, "Didn't I tell you to take those penguins to the zoo?" The trucker replies, "I did. And it was a lot of fun. Today I'm taking them to the movies."
You should teach me how to tell a joke.
It's not something you can teach, my boy. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Are you hungry? Thirsty? If you need anything, just let me know.
Will do.
I was driving with this girl once. Poor thing. She was too shy to even tell me when she had to pee.
Did she toughen up over time?
Oh yeah. And she ended up making a pretty damn good career as a trucker. I might not be much of a reader, but after all those years on the road, being around all sorts of characters, I know how to read people well. Most young rookie truckers get a case of beginner's jitters. They don't know how to act around a big, scary old man. I found it's most important to just be there for them during these times. Make them comfortable. Let's set their mind at ease.
Uh-huh.
Of course, there needs to be a balance between getting them to warm up to you and still understand who's the boss. You shouldn't forget that I'm the trainer. They're the trainee.
I imagine that you learned that from experience.
Learn what? Keep the right distance from the trainees.
Yeah.
Of course. That's us. Let's drop off the fruit.
Okay.
I had a girl from this area years ago. Drop dead gorgeous.
So, what happened?
A man who isn't gone weeks at a time and who comes home every night. I told you, it's hard building and keeping a relationship when you spent decades on the road.
Isn't there a recipe or something? Don't you truckers talk to each other?
I'm spent. We do.
Lie down.
And
Got
people are
time for
different,
it.
my boy. We all have different values, mindsets, and needs. There's no way I'll just drop him back and snooze Jamie Pound and his lady.
I
Doesn't mean his advice
I'm still learning.
help John from Oregon keep his relationship together. If I happen to doze
Yeah,
off, wake
I
me up
see.
straight away. Okay? I got a bit worked
Will
up.
do.
I'm sorry. Once we take the delivery to Jamie
No problem.
I'll get a coffee, and then I'll take you to a new place.
Awesome.
Perfect. As soon as you park, I'll run out to get a copy. You want anything?
Do you have any of that cricket game?
Okay.
So, we'll leave the trailer and then what?
I'm wide awake now, so you could grab a beer in town. But the spot I want to take you is pretty far away, so let's just head there.
Where is this place exactly? You've been keeping me on my toes all day.
Does the name Rosalia mean anything to you?
It reminds me of Sabrina. My mother used to listen to her a lot when I was little.
Oh, your father loved her too. Rosalia is a wonderful motel I've been going to for years. It's pretty far away, but the nature around it is remarkable. The address is already in the GPS.
Okay, it sounds good.
Do you watch sports?
Sure. I watch the other football. You know, the European one. Soccer.
It seems to be getting more and more popular here too. We should watch a game together sometime.
What's your favorite sport?
I mainly watch basketball and baseball. Back in school, I was a forward on the local basketball team. Your father and I used to love watching basketball. Tigers were our favorite team. I still remember the final game against the Magpies in 1985. Mitchell Jordine had a serious injury and they were trailing by 1 point. Then a split second before the end, he nailed a spectacular game-winning jumper. I'm sure the fans of both teams were on the edge of their seats, bowing to Jordine's talent. It was poetry in motion.
Well, it seems like you're still very much into it.
Sometimes I get emotional during a game. I turn into a different person.
Have you traveled outside of the U.S.?
No, I haven't had the privilege.
Yeah, me neither. But I would love to go to Europe, especially Greece and the Scandinavian countries.
Are you trying to combine the hot summer sun in Greece with the frosty winters in Finland?
No. When I was a boy, my mother introduced me to Scandinavian and Greek mythology. They both made a huge impression on me. Besides, the Finnish have their own system of beliefs, although they do share some similarities with Scandinavian mythology.
Oh, so you're an expert.
No, not at all. But when I was a kid, the stories from the two mythologies helped me to escape in my own little world. When times were tough, they would take my mind to a more interesting and positive place. Since then, I've read bits and pieces on the topic. I'm no expert, but I'm a big fan. Although, the difference in climate you mentioned sounds like a nice bonus. But I have no idea how I could ever afford such a trip.
One step at a time, my boy. If you embrace this job, over time, money will start flowing in.
And where do you live?
The Oak Valley Farm. My brother and I are co-owners.
Cool.
My brother owns the greater share, but I have a percentage in it. He takes care of pretty much everything. Actually, tomorrow we have an order for the farm, but I'll give you more details at dinner or tomorrow morning. We need to kick back a bit now. We began our journey at full throttle, but we should slow down every now and then.
Yeah, it's been good so far. I feel accomplished. Frankly, I wasn't expecting much, but I think your attitude and fast-paced work have made for a good start.
Good, my boy. I'm glad to hear that. About time. Here's Rosalia, Nathan.
I had a feeling that I knew this place, but I wasn't sure. I've never spent the night here, but I've definitely passed by it.
There you go. You'll have your first experience in bed here.
And in the restaurant, too. I could go for a couple of juicy burgers and an apple pie for dessert.
I recommend something special if it's still on the menu.
Perfect. We ate wild Alaskan salmon and some delicious apple pie. Clint is a kind man who I've managed to meet at what seems to be the perfect time in my life. Being on the road just feels right to me. I spoke with Linda as well. We rarely see eye to eye about anything or act warm towards each other anymore, but I hope we can find a way to make it work.
Everything good to go?
Yeah, we're ready to head to John's building supply.
Great.
What's it like out here, driving on your own for days or even weeks at a time? Don't you ever get lonely or depressed or bored?
Are you considering long-distance routes?
Not necessarily. I'm just curious about what it's like for you. As for the routes, we'll see. Time will tell.
I have no idea if my experience will be relevant for you, but I've spent many years on the road. In fact, I can't even remember what it's like not to be a trucker. So my perspective is probably skewed. If nothing else, after all these years on the road, I've seen all sorts of shit.
And at the beginning, when you first started?
Well, I can't remember that far back. You should probably ask a younger trucker. Of course, it depends on the type of person you are. If you enjoy being on your own and can take care of yourself, it might be a breeze. But life in the cab of an 18-wheeler can be quite tough. Loneliness will likely be the least of your concerns.
Yeah.
Besides, we have phones nowadays. Some truckers listen to music a lot. Others bring books along to read while on break or in bed.
Thanks, Clint. I appreciate your honesty.
Anytime, my boy.
Not to be nosy, but what do you need all that wood for?
My brother's making some renovations on the farm, so most of it will be used for repairs.
Hey, if you need any help, just let me know.
Thanks, but my brother has it all under control. As I said, he takes care of everything on the farm. Do you have any memories of your father?
Only vague ones.
If you don't want to talk about it, just say so.
No, it's fine. Apart from my mother, you might be the only person I'd want to talk to about him. Tell me a cool memory of him. Something my mom doesn't even know. Come on, Clint. All of my memories are hazy, mostly based on my mom's stories. I do remember that whenever he came home from a trip, I'd usually be in bed. He would walk in smiling and tickle my feet. I remember looking forward to it.
You meant everything to him, Nathan. Your dad was the proudest father in the world. He was always planning things for the two of you, playing basketball, rides in the trunk, jogging in the morning. In such moments, his face would light up. I envied him a bit for it. I dreamt of having a son of my own when I was younger.
Tell me a cool story of the two of you together.
You probably know about his small role in the road dimension.
Of course, but I never watched the whole movie.
It's not bad. You should give it a go when you have the time. Do you know how he got cast in the movie?
Random. The director happened to run into him and thought he'd make a good character.
Yeah, he liked the way you were smoking a cig.
Huh?
Your father was unmatched when it came to unique mannerisms. Oftentimes, he would simply light a cigarette in the bar, and the eyes of all the women there would be drawn to him.
Wow. Really?
It was the same thing that happened with the director. We were at a bistro. I think we were in Boston at the time.
And?
Your father was smoking, and he went, "Look at that guy over there, staring at me." And then that guy gets up and heads to our way. He introduced himself and straight away said that he'd love to give your father a minor role in his next movie. Your dad froze for a moment. It's not every day that a popular film director comes up to you and offers you a role.
And then what happened?
Your father asked him what made him think he'd be right for the part, and Ted Scott, I believe his name was, said he was perfect for the opening scene, a wedding. He just liked how your dad was smoking and sipping from his glass. Of course, he must have liked his looks too. I think he got like $150 for that part.
I didn't know the details. That short scene is the only video I have of him. He almost landed a career in the movies, huh?
I don't know about that. He never got a single line of dialogue.
Yeah, I was just kidding around. But cool story. Thanks.
You got it. I can tell you more stories if you want.
Sure, later on. I never started smoking myself.
Good for you. Great. Come on, let's go home. If my nephews are there, I'll introduce you to them. They're around your age. After you got married, did you manage to maintain your friendships?
Not really. I've lost touch with most of my close friends. Not that there were many of them, but me and Rambir have stayed close.
Who?
Rambir is Indian. His name means honest, or maybe brave warrior. Something like that.
Ah, cool. I drove a typical Indian truck years ago here in our region. I wonder if it still runs. Was he born here?
No, he's an immigrant. He came here with his parents when he was little.
Is his family from the upper castes?
Not really.
Sorry for being so nosy.
No, it's fine. Rambir's a cool guy.
What does he do?
Right now, the same as me, trying to figure out his next step in life.
Ah, you youngsters think way too much. Always calculated, never active.
I mean, that's quite the generalization, isn't it?
It probably is. Just my personal observation. I didn't mean to offend you. Sorry.
No worries. You seem to be young at heart. I don't feel the usual generation gap. Plus, I should be thanking you for everything you've done for me and for what you did for my mom after my dad passed.
Easy now. You're gonna make me cry, son.
Oh, here's one for you.
Just try it.
Linda gives me a hard time for playing too much. She says all I ever do is walk some horses on the street.
That's what you're into. My nephews play too. The machine is called Guesser or something.
Cool.
I used to go to arcades back in my day. I played Street Combat 2 a lot. Does that game still exist?
Sure does. The fifth one's out now.
I never really got into it like you kids. Sports were always my biggest passion.
Nothing wrong with that.
we're here. Welcome home.
Clint and I spent 9 weeks together. He's a great guy. Not only did he help me find my footing in the new job, but he also gave me a fresh perspective of my self-worth. He taught me how to have more confidence. For one reason or another, I'd always struggled with pain. Clint provided me with the best training possible, showing me a number of useful tricks. We also talked about my father quite a bit. And he was a quiet amongst friends. They were really close. Clint said my father talked about me all the time and took good care of me, trying to make sure we had every family together until the tornado started. I got a job at Furious Delivery Company. I hope we'll stay in touch with him. Time for me to meet myself. Kick. Thanks. Where should I start?
Clint. So far, we're tossing the deep end. Here. We use all possible communication channels, including email. But as an old school dispatcher, I prefer voice communication.
I'll keep that in mind.
I'll talk to you once you're leave sooner, drive slower.
It's east.
Glad to hear that. Now, back to business. Some construction need to be ZID. We're talking cement. 11.3 total.
Yeah, no problem. What's the address?
The delivery is stored near town and must be delivered to the construction site, Oak Valley Farm.
Roger that.
It's like I'm talking to an experienced
That to you.
for sure. Listen, young man. Take a word of advice, and I'll let you do your thing.
Listening.
I'm old school myself. I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
In the future, you'll likely work with other dispatchers around your age or even younger. Today's dispatchers are rarely experts like myself know what a driver deals with on a day-to-day basis. A present-day dispatcher is often just a kid with a computer. They mostly care what the software says, sometimes disregard the driver, but don't pick fights with them unless you're trying to give yourself a headache. They'll always want to be in charge of your schedule, but at the end of the day, you'll need to be on the same page. Just remember to never make any definite promises. Dispatchers are often pressured by the sales team, who give customers false promises themselves. But no matter what goods you get, you always say that you'll do your best to deliver them as instructed by the customer. Nothing more, nothing less. You have no way of knowing what could happen on the road, so no guarantees.
Thanks for the advice, James.
Ha! You still have a long way to go, young man. You're gonna face lots of challenges, and you'll make mistakes, which will either make you a better trucker or make you give up on this job forever.
I don't expect it to be easy.
That's good. Listen, we had a nice talk. I've got to go now. If you have any questions, speak up now or feel free to call me or email me later. Good luck.
Thanks. I'll talk to you later.